I think what that PCP meeting does is give them a lot of confidence in knowing that they are steering the way versus listening to other people sort of steer the way, even though they know those are things that they need to work on. It makes them take a little bit more ownership of it, I think.
A lot more ownership.
And they're thinking what their goals are. They're getting help too in the same way from teachers and their supports in the PCP. And I think she takes great pride in putting together the information and even just getting in front of a group of people to present that thing on a monthly basis, even though it's a lot of people that is a wonderful skill to have, and also something that helps build her confidence and her abilities.
There's no hiding developmental needs in this process. Everybody's owning them. And when the person that has the developmental need is the one that's speaking to the group about their developmental needs and their accomplishments, to me it's pretty powerful.
We can be as active in it as we need to be, and we voice concerns when need be. But since she's doing it and seeing what she needs to do versus a teacher seeing it in a classroom, there's not as much that we necessarily need to do. So we find ourselves more observing and voicing concern or praise only where needed. As I mentioned before, Allie was pretty much just an observer. And in this, she is the leader. And she's, as she goes through it, she's gaining feedback throughout the meeting and reassessing her goals and resetting her goals if need be. She's completely in control of those, and she was a complete observer in the other.
Several of the items that come up in a PCP meeting have to do with 100% about living independently in a safe manner when you've got developmental disability, and everybody around the room's not just focused on how's she doing with reading or math or whatever. They're focused about her whole life and how to make sure that the whole Allie is prepared to live independently so that we all meet our commitment as we've made it to the program from the outset. So to me, it's more about developing the whole person and getting her ready for the next big step in life. I think the obvious benefit, or one, would be the confidence that it instills in young people. And
in their ability to be independent.
Absolutely.
As much as they can.
And it naturally progresses them into owning their developmental needs or opportunities versus passively hearing about them when other people are talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two things that come to my mind.
Yeah, because I think they just take them more to heart and everything when they're the ones saying what it is versus listening to what it is.
Because those objectives are not forced upon them. It's part of a collaboration that they're involved with here at the university, and we're brought into that and asked for opinion and advice and what have you. But they're involved in the development of those objectives, and so then they're the ones that are speaking them forward and leading the meeting, and the ownership that they take in that, I think the difference is profound versus hearing other people talk about what Allie needs to do.
I think it would force them toward more independent thoughts at an earlier age, which would more naturally help them float into programs such as these and other ways of independent living.
My bet is that if this were to start, if this kind of an approach was employed or implemented in a high school setting, and maybe that's already happening places, but if it was, I think probably my bet would be that the people that would learn the most would be the educators themselves, okay? Because to see this flower bloom in front of their own eyes is kind of hard to describe.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be my bet.
Yeah.
And it probably would expand the perceived potential that many educators might see in these kids.